welcome. I'm gonna post this one more time for the optional playlist of the week, and we're gonna get started. So this week, I'm gonna start on my knees. Starting on your knees is not very fun. You can start crisscross, you can start with your legs out, just somewhere comfortable. So welcome everybody to our Thursday class, and let's take a moment to settle in. I like to roll my shoulders a little bit. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, especially if you've been typing. And then let that head settle nicely on top of your neck, nice straight spine. Let those eyes close or face off to the ground. And just take your moment here to check in with your body, with your mind. Are there places that want to move? Places that want to stretch or are feeling cramped? Just check in for your starting point today. And then bring your attention to your breath. Maybe the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. And just begin to make that a little bit longer, a little bit deeper. Drawing out the breath. And just give yourself a few rounds. No race here to get that breath long. And our breath today is going to be our guide. So if we're needing rest, if we've had a busy, crazy week, maybe we were out running earlier, or you're just exhausted, haven't been sleeping, and you want to take more rest in your yoga, just keep this nice long breath. And if you're wanting energy, if you're like, no, I've been sitting all morning, I need to move a lot, then move a lot, but also use the breath as a guide. And then if it starts to be short and stuttery, that's a sign that maybe you want to back off just a little bit and see if you can work hard and keep that steady breath. On your next exhale, drop your neck to your chin to your chest. Open up the back of the neck. And slowly you begin to move your neck in some nice circles. Maybe inhaling for the first half. Exhaling for the second half. And if any areas feel a little sticky, you can hang out there a little bit longer. We feel those ears creeping up to shoulders, creeping to the ears, drop those shoulders down. And then pause and rotate the other way. And sometimes it takes a few minutes, moments to get into class. You can tell I'm tripping over my words a little bit this morning, so it takes me a few moments to get going too. So if your mind is still racing, if you're still distracted, that's okay. We're only a few minutes in. So just give yourself some compassion, some understanding, and know that those cricks and creaks, we're working on those. And gradually open those eyes. Bring your head back to center. Let's reach those hands behind the back. Maybe grabbing for the fingers, maybe interlacing the palms. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, roll your shoulders back, and just reach those hands behind your back. We're just getting started here, so listen how to the deepest reach. Just warm up your shoulders a bit. Welcome to the new people that have joined us. It's good to see you. And then let's release those hands, reach those arms out to the sides and all the way up. Reaching tall. And we'll interlace the fingers up top, flip the palms, and press that ceiling up. Again, checking in with that nice deep inhale. Long exhale. And then release the right hand. Let's bring it down to the side. And begin to tip over to the right side to a nice side bend. Maybe pushing down your left shin into the ground. Just give you a different sensation in that side bend. And then we're going to come up, reach high. Interlace the fingers the opposite way. Different thumb on top, flip the palm and push up and away toward the ceiling. This can feel a little hard sometimes after a morning at the computer, but that's okay. Push away, really spread the palms, and then release the left hand, bring it down. Begin to tip over into your side bend the other way. Pushing that right shin into the ground, finding your back. And then we're going to come on up. Roll the shoulders forward. Nice big circles, bring the shoulders to the ears. And then let's roll them back. They come up to the ears. Squeeze those shoulder blades together in the back. And bring them around again. A little bit of joint movement to open up those shoulders. And then coming on over to tabletop. Spread those fingers wide, index fingers forward. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. We're gonna drop the belly down, bringing that sit bone up. Chest comes through, gaze comes up. This is your cow pose. Really feeling the sit bones come up in the air, the chest pattern forward. And then push the ground away, begin to arch your back up like a cat. Pelvis comes in, belly to spine. Really push the ground away as you drop your head and neck. And then come down to tabletop. If you're new today, I want you to stick with that one. Or you can bring up your right foot. And we're gonna try that with one leg. So dropping the belly, proud chest, come into cow. And then bring the knee under your chest as you come into cat. Really pulling that knee into the chest. And then do a few more cat-cow to your own breath. Inhaling one way. Exhaling the other. You don't have to match me. What we're doing here is we're just waking up the spine and giving the core a little bit of extra work. Then after your next one, you can drop the knee and pick up the left side. And if you're doing the two shins down on the ground, just keep going at your own speed, really feeling the change in the spine between the cow pose when the belly drops and the cat pose when the belly comes in. You arch up. Then coming back to tabletop. We're gonna reach out the right foot long. Maybe you wanna turn sideways on your mat. You're gonna come up to a gate pose. So your right leg is out to the side, you're still kneeling on the left. You're gonna take a moment to stretch out those arms, nice and long. Bend your wrist so your hand is flat. Spread the fingers and push away the invisible wall. So we're gonna be doing a few side planks today, and this extension in the arms, pushing away, having the shoulders down away from the ears. This is what we're going to use in our side plank. So let's begin to tip toward the left side. Keep those arms extended. Reach that left hand down. And then maybe you want to start bringing up the leg. We're going to come into a kneeling side plank to start today. Then maybe you want to straighten those fingers toward the ceiling, wiggle them out. Just really push the ground away. Then you can bring that leg down. Start to come up the other way. Drop the right hand onto the right leg and that side bend on the left side. We're really gonna open up those sides today. Do some core work. We've already started with that. Come on up. Find your tabletop. And then step out the left foot on the other side. Walking your hands towards yourself as you come on up. So reach those arms away. Bending at the wrist and really pushing away those walls. Dropping the shoulders down. And then as you push away those hands, begin to tip toward the right side, coming down to the ground. Tip, tip, tip. And when you're almost there, you can begin to lift up that leg, coming into the side plank. And if you're pretty new at this, it might be hard to bring up that leg. So if you're down here, if you're playing patty cake with the mat, just keep trying. Keep working those muscles. Yoga is this lovely lifelong practice. So we don't want to be good right away. Otherwise we wouldn't do it anymore. Just kidding. Come on up. Push that wall away. We're going to come into tabletop. Tuck those toes. Begin to move your sit bones towards your heels and push up into down dog. First one of the noon hour. So maybe you want to bend one knee and then the other. Walk out that dog a little bit. And then as you move into stillness, those knees can still be bent. So you push the front of the mat away and think about bringing those hips up. So you can have high hips and still have bent knees. If you have tight hamstrings like me, those knees are going to feel a lot better being bent. Inhale, looking forward. Let's baby step the feet behind the hands, keeping those hips high. Bend the knees and then forward fold. Let the neck and the head hang. Maybe you want to grab opposite elbows with the hands and just let that head hang toward the floor. Coming back to that nice deep inhale. Long exhale. Feel those feet push into the ground and let's slowly curl on up to a nice standing pose. Standing tall and proud at the front of the mat. Feel those feet really connect. Feel your spine grow up to the ceiling. And while you're here standing tall and proud, I want you to think of one thing today that you are proud of. I am proud that I remembered to eat fruit for breakfast. I ate an apple, so that's mine. And then let's inhale, exhale. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, forward bend, hinge the hips. Inhale, half lift. Hands come to the shins. Really reach that spine out long. Exhale, forward bend. Put the hands on the ground and step back with your right foot, tucking the toes and lowering that back knee into low lunge. Taking time, finding your balance, really sinking into that lunge. And if you want to do this in a high lunge, if that feels better for your body today, feel free. We're going to reach those arms up high, nice and big. Inhale, straighten the spine. Exhale, twist toward the left side. Drop the right hand just outside the knee. And the left hand is going to reach behind you, reaching around, maybe for that leg. And maybe that neck wants to come around, looking over the shoulder. So we're in a little twisty lunge today. And you might be wobbling a bit, you might feel your balance be challenged, but that's part of this move, is to challenge our balance. Then inhale, come back to that lunge. And this is where you may want to add some books or some pots. If you reach down beside your foot, if it's a long way to the ground, you may want to add a little bit of height here. And that could be with anything. I have yoga blocks here, but you can use pillows. And then what we're going to do with the hands here is we're going to begin to move our sit bones, our butt, toward our heel, straightening the front leg, kind of. Mine's still bent, but I'm moving back into my hip. And I'm just feeling out that forward fold. Noticing how my hamstring feels today. And then we're going to move one breath forward, one breath back. So you're going to inhale, coming toward that low lunge. Exhale, you're going to come back to that little forward bend. And just do that to your own breath. Being curious. What does your hamstring feel like? The back of your leg feel like when you do this? What does your hip socket feel like when you do this? And so what we're going for in yoga is we want to feel sensation, but we want to keep that a good sensation. So maybe going to about 70% of our max range so that we feel the sensation, but we're not in any sharp shooting pain. If you feel sharp shooting pain, then you want to back off. And then we're going to stop in this forward lunge, tuck the back toe, and we're going to step back to plank on your toes or on your knees. Take a moment to spread those fingers, push the ground away, and almost like cat pose, really think about belly button to spine, heart to spine, and then slowly lower down to your belly, all the way. Bringing those elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms in front, finding your Sphinx pose. So really press the elbows into the ground and then feel your spine grow and extend forward and up. Now you have an option here to stay in this spinal extension if it feels good. If you want to have a longer stretch, stay here. If you want to add 3 rounds of core work, you're going to press your elbows into the ground, press the knees into the ground, and begin to lift up your belly and your hips and your thighs from the mat. And then exhale, you'll lower your thighs, your hips, and your belly coming into Sphinx. So try that 2 more times if you choose the core work. And if you're choosing to stay in the Sphinx, the spinal extension, then I just want you to focus on the breath and keep up the work, just expanding that spine. Part of advancing in our yoga practice is asking ourselves, what does our body need today? Does it need some fire, some core? Does it need some stretching and extending? And you have the power to choose that. Exhale, let's come all the way down. Hands behind the chest, tuck the toes. And then push up to kneeling plank. Option to go to plank on the toes. And then we're going to step the right foot forward and find our low lunge on the other side. If it doesn't go in one step, just help it get there, however you can. So let's take some time to settle into the low lunge on the other side. We're going to reach those arms up. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Drop your left hand across your right knee and reach this right hand back and down, maybe reaching for that leg. Turning your gaze over your shoulder and finding that twisty lunge. And then finding that breath. Can you inhale deep? Exhale long. Then we're gonna slowly untwist, maybe finding your height as you bring your hand alongside your feet. And then we're gonna move our sit bones back toward our heel. As we move our front leg close to straight, hinge at the hips and come into a forward bend. Noticing how your hamstring feels. If your leg is straight and you feel this a lot in your knee, I want you to put a micro bend in your knee because we want to feel behind the upper part of our leg. And getting ready to move, one breath, one movement. So as you inhale, move into the lunge, chest proud. Exhale, move back to the forward fold. And you get to choose the pace if you want to have nice, long, deep movements. Or perhaps you want to make them a little bit quicker today. You get to choose. And on different days, your body may want different things. Part of what yoga teaches us is what does our body want that day? And then the harder part is to listen to it. And then let's come on into that front lunge. Hands pop on either side of the foot, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and we're gonna step back to plank on toes or plank on knees, yogi's choice. We're really spreading the fingers and then almost think of that cat pose. Belly to spine, heart to chest. Push that ground away, acrobatic plank. And then slowly let's lower all the way down to the belly. Shoulders under, elbows under the shoulders. Finding that Sphinx. Maybe you want to widen the feet. And you get to choose. You want to feel this nice long extension by pressing the elbows into the ground, really bringing the chest forward and up. And do you want to add a core? Pressing the elbows into the ground, press the knees into the ground. Let's peel the hips and thighs off the mat. And then slowly set thighs, hips, belly down. Whichever option you choose, I want you to find that deep inhale and long exhale. And use that breath to guide your movement or to give you staying power in that longer stretch. And then slowly we're going to come back to the belly. Hands beside the chest, tuck the toes, press up to plank on the knees, perhaps plank on the toes. And then yogi's choice, you can choose to come back to down dog or child's pose. So ask yourself, does my body want a little bit of fire right now in down dog? Or does it want some time to catch its breath and a nice back extension in child's pose? Both are super great poses. They both do wonderful things for your back. One is a little bit more fiery, one's a little bit more restful. Whichever one you're in right now, I want you to feel that long breath. Feel the oxygen that it's bringing into your body. Feel the space between your thoughts it gives you. And then if you are in child's pose, you're slowly going to meet us in down dog. We're going to inhale looking forward, and we're going to tiptoe to the front of the mat. Bend the knees, forward fold. And then we're going to inhale, sweeping those arms all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Arms by your sides, standing tall. Bringing those feet together. We're going to inhale to chair pose. So sitting back, butt goes back. Arms reach out in front. But we're actually going to bring them into heart center today. Really pushing those hands together. We're going to inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, begin to twist toward the left. Just moving your spine all by itself as much as you can. And then if you choose, you can bring your elbow down to your thighs. And maybe you can bring yourself a bit more into a twist. But what I'm really interested in is how much can you twist by yourself without that leverage? And you're going to notice that change over time. Inhale, come back to chair. And this is where you get to choose. Fire, reach out your arms, stay in chair. A little bit of rest, bend the knees, forward fold. You get to choose the option, but we are all going to breathe deep and long. And then finding your way back to chair with the hands at heart center. Inhale, spine long. Exhale, begin to twist to the right. Maybe setting the elbow down. If you're shaking from the chair, it means you're building some strength in your legs. And that is okay. That is more than okay. That's what we want to do over time. Then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe walk those feet apart, hip width apart. Bend the knees. Building strength at the time can be shaky. It can feel weak. But then our muscles are going to start to repair themselves. They're going to start to make themselves stronger. So feeling shaky in a pose, a little shaky, that is good. So much shaky, you're going to fall over, just back out a little bit. We're talking about the shake because we're now going to try some side planks. So plant your hands on the ground and we're going to step back to plank from the toes, or you can do the same side plank we did at the middle by starting in tabletop with the knee down. If you're doing plank from the toes, we're going to bring the feet together at the back of the mat and gradually roll over onto your right side. If you're doing the same plank we did at the beginning of class with the knees down, just put your right knee down and you extend that arm. So this is where we're teaching online. I just talked a lot of options through there. So feeling free to take the time to look at the screen to find what works for you. And whether that knee is down or up, I want you to think about lifting those hips nice and high. Embrace that shake. And then come back to plank or tabletop in the middle. And then we're going to move to the other side. Left side, side plank. From the feet. Or maybe from the knee. Choose your own adventure today. We're going to think about lifting those hips nice and high. And then we're going to come back to center, finding your plank on the toes or the knees, pushing the ground away, and then slowly lowering all the way down to your belly. Woo. We're going to move over to the right side of the mat. Left cheek on the mat, left hand reaching out like a T behind you. Feel free to look at the screen. Right hand goes by your chest, and you're going to push yourself over onto your side body. You can stay here, or you can take your top leg, bend the knee up to the ceiling, and set the foot behind you. And maybe you want to take this hand in the front and reach it around your back. We're stretching our shoulders, our chest, and our pecs here. And if your knee is up, you're also stretching your hip. We're doing a little hip rotation. Checking in with that nice deep breath. And then we're slowly going to begin to unwind, bringing the hand back around, unbending the knee and slowly coming back to the belly. And slide over to the left side of the mat. Plant the right cheek on the ground. Reach the right hand behind you and push yourself up on your side. Option to bend that top knee, bring it up toward the ceiling and place the foot behind you. Maybe you want to reach that top hand behind your back. This shoulder stretch also has quite a few options. You get to find the one that works for you. If you know the two-legged option, that's always open as well. Finding that breath. Inhaling deep. Exhaling long. And we're going to take this top hand and we're going to bring it back around front. And slowly come back to our front body. Reaching the right arm forward. Left hand by the chest. We're slowly going to roll over onto our backs now. Centering ourselves on the mat. Planting the feet on the mat so they're sort of close to your butt. If I curl up here, I can reach my Achilles heels, and I'm going to roll back. And they're as far apart so that you could put like a fist or two in between your legs. So they're not right together. Reach those arms down along your side, palms down, so you're pressing your palms into the ground. And we're going into a bridge pose. So you're going to press your feet into the ground, press your arms and hands into the ground, engage your butt muscles and begin to peel your butt and your hips and your low back and your mid back off the ground as you come into this little diagonal slide shape. Maybe you want to think about pushing your feet more into the ground, arms into the ground. Squeezing those butt muscles to lift the hips. And you're going to connect with the breath, which it can be hard in these back bends. And then we're slowly going to lower upper back, mid back, low back, coming all the way down. And taking a moment of rest here. We're going to do that 2 more times. And you have the option to do exactly what we just did, or you can choose to lift a leg when we get up. But don't feel like you need to do that. You get to ask your body, what does it need today? What does it want to try today? So press your feet into the ground, press your arms and hands to the ground. Squeeze your sit bones. Begin to lift your butt, your hips, and your back off the ground. Belly button to spine. And then if you want to experiment, remember it doesn't have to be perfect. Keep belly button into spine, press into your left foot, and maybe see if you can bring your right knee up. And then maybe you want to try and extend that right leg up. Keep trying to lift your butt. If you're shaking, if you're wobbling, if you're laughing, you're like, I can't even get my foot off the ground. It used to be there. And then slowly, you're going to let that leg come down, challenge yourself. And then plant the foot on the ground, lower your spine and your back and your hips to the ground. And check in with your breath. Whatever you did, however you did in that round, I want you to pat yourself on the back. Unless you want to go get lunch already. then you need to come back to your mat and save lunch for another few minutes. All right, but whether you rested, you worked, you did something in between, we are honoring what our body wants. All right, feel the feet press into the ground, arms press into the ground, begin to come into your bridge. And really find a nice, solid bridge here. So really feel the feet connect with the ground, belly button into the spine, squeeze your butt cheeks together, and then press the right foot into the ground, left knee comes in, up, and then maybe you want to extend that leg to the ceiling, to the wall. Embrace the wobble, really push your hands and feet into the ground. Squeeze the butts together. That's a big muscle. It can help you. And then let that leg slowly come down. And then maybe bend the knee, plant the foot. And we're going to lower back down one more time. Good job. I can only see one screen on right now, but I assume everyone's doing their very best. Let's walk those feet out to the sides of the mat and let the knees drop in. Hands can come onto the belly. And this is where I want you to picture your favorite color or balloon. Pop it in the belly. And you're gonna inhale so deep and long, that belly's gonna blow up nice and big. That balloon's gonna blow up nice and big. You're gonna admire it. And then slowly exhale, allowing the balloon to slowly deflate. And then do the balloon breath a few more times to your own speed. Really feeling that balloon grow both inside your body and the pressure into your hands. Just notice that and be curious about that for a few moments. I love this balloon breath as a way to transition from the energetic work into more of the calming work. Then keeping your hands on your belly, let's heel toe the feet back to center and allow the soles of the feet to come together and the knees drop out wide into a diamond. And once you feel settled with those knees out wide, continue with that balloon breath. Really noticing if it helps those glute muscles to fully release. The first one with the knees coming together gave us a little bit of internal rotation. And then the second one is giving us some external rotation in our hips. And depending on our own unique bodies, one of them may be a little bit easier than the other. We practice both so that we can get better at both. You can find growth in both over time. You can bring those hands out to the sides of your legs, and we're going to bring those legs all the way together. And then bringing those knees into your chest, into a little ball. Maybe you want to do some arms around the shins, maybe do a little bit of a rock. You can tuck your chin into a chest. Maybe now you're feeling that long breath from your belly come into your thighs. Feeling that pressure. Keeping your knees into your chest, let's slowly sink back down on our backs so the arms can release the legs. And then keep the knees bent, flex the feet, and then unbend the knees so the feet are coming toward the side wall or toward the ceiling. And then we can move those knees out to the sides as well. They're kind of diagonal in this little kids like it being called dead bug pose. But then to make it more lighthearted and fun, we're going to bring belly button into spine. Curl our shoulders and our head off the mat and either grab your shin, your ankle, or the tops of your feet. Inhale. Exhale. Try and pull your legs down so your knees come wider and deeper. And then inhale deep again. And exhale. See if you can release, still holding at your body, but can you bring your upper back, your shoulders, or maybe even your head onto the mat? And in this happy baby, maybe you want to roll around and add some movement. Perhaps you want to be still. What does your body want right now? And it can take a while to be able to understand those messages our body's telling us. I mean, sometimes if it's pain, it means stop, get help. But if it's a little ache sometimes, an ache can maybe mean it wants to move and stretch. Or it may mean it needs to rest. And so that's a little tricky at first, is to understand yourself. What does that little ache mean to you today? Release the feet. Let's bring the knees and legs together and set the feet on the mat. Open up the arms wide to a T. You don't have a room to a T. I don't have room for a T. We're going to come into cactus arms, so bending the elbows. And then keeping your legs together to start, we're going to slowly let the knees fall over to the right side. And if they come down, if they separate, the shoulder floats, that's all right. And then bring the gaze over to the left. Finding a nice recline twist. Maybe you close those eyes. And just enjoy this little stretch, this longer moment of calm. Believe that strength moves, active flexibility moves, and a few passive moves like this twist all have a place in yoga. They all bring different benefits to our bodies, to our minds. Let's bring our gaze back to center. Knees can come back to center. Slowly dropping the knees over to the other side. And maybe the neck to the opposite side. So your knees and your gaze are in opposite directions. Ooh, I can feel this one in my upper back a little bit. And if you feel a place that feels a bit more intense, maybe you want to send some extra breath there. Maybe you want to adjust your arms for a moment. You can ask yourself, is that a good little sensation I can sit with and breathe through? Or is that a sharp shooting sensation that I actually need to adjust the whole thing? For me, it's just a little ache that needs a little extra breath and space. I love these twists because over time your body gravity just turns into your best friend and just allows you to deepen the stretch without even trying. Then inhale, bring your knees back to center, gaze to center. And then you can extend those legs out, heels to the corners of your mat. Allowing those legs just to release. And then bring the arms down alongside your body, leaving a little bit of space between your arm and your body. Back of the palms on the ground. Just open up those fingers. Maybe extend them. And then let them just rest. Perhaps you want to tuck your chin into your chest, extend the neck, and then set your head back down. I also like to walk my shoulder blades in together a little bit. As I settle onto the mat, I just find it relaxes my back. We're just going to be here for a few minutes. But while you're here, your earned rest, we've built muscle, we've built active flexibility, passive flexibility today. I want you to take the deepest inhale you took all class through your nose, deep and long. And then pause and hold that breath for the count of 3. And then slowly through your mouth, just let the air escape really slow. Almost like a leaky tire, but a good leaky tire. And then try that one more time to your own speed. So a huge, deep, deep breath through the nose, holding it at the top for the count of 3. And when you're ready, slowly exhale through the mouth. Maybe you're making a little bit of a sigh or a sound. That's okay. That's welcomed. And then just let that breath be. If you have a few moments before you need to get back to your studies or to work, I encourage you to stay here. Enjoy this space. Allow your body some time to start recovering from that work that we did. But since this is a school and work day, if you have to move, you can slowly begin to wiggle those fingers and toes and rotate those wrists and ankles, planting one foot on the mat and then the other. And then slowly rolling on over to your left-hand side, or whichever side. We're not in a class, you won't be staring at anyone awkwardly. And take this moment here today to think of one thing that you are grateful for. Then slowly using that top hand, and push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Bringing those hands to heart center, tucking the chin. And just take a moment here to check in with how today's class affected you. What did it bring to your body and mind today? Then all together, let's inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, letting this practice go. It is done. Thank you for joining me this Thursday. I hope to see you again next week. And if you have any questions about props, about poses, about classes in general, please reach out to Wellness. And don't forget to enter the prize draw and go on social media and say what your favorite thing about class today was. So we want to give away those prizes. So you could say it was the twist, or it was down dog, or it was a side plank, or it was just being on my mat at lunch. So even if you're a staff or a student, whatever you are, go into the prize draw. All right. Have a good day, everybody.